Good day, I'm Eduard. This is Carla. Well, we've been together for about 21 years, and for most of that time we've actually been camping and traveling. It all started, she had a Nissan 1400 bucket that got stolen, and then she didn't want to buy another car that could get stolen, and that's why we ended up with a Suzuki Jeep actually. That was our first 4x4. We started traveling all the way up to Namibia. Obviously there's a
Well, it took us a week to get to Namibia
Also
from
true.
Cape Town. And then we discovered all these remote spots next to the beach that you could camp at, and we sort of just got hooked with camping.
And then obviously the Suzuki got a bit small.
Too small.
And obviously it's,
because the camping gear got
and the
too
camping
many.
gear got more. At
Yeah.
that point in time we had nothing. I think we had a cooler box and that was about it.
2 cooler boxes.
And then from there we moved on. We bought a 2.2 Hilux for a couple of years.
Yep.
Then we bought a 2.7 petrol Hilux as well. That we drove for many years.
Yes.
And then about 3 years ago, the 2.7 was getting a bit old and starting to make a couple of funny noises. And because we travel solo,
And longer as well, because we started traveling for, say, 3 weeks.
up to 3 weeks, up to a month.
3 to 4 weeks.
So then we decided we want to buy the vehicle that we've always wanted to have, that we've always dreamed
The
of.
dream vehicle.
And that is the Toyota Land Cruiser.
Bakkie.
Yeah. My wife, I was actually wondering about a station wagon. My wife wants a bakkie.
Yes.
Obviously it's got a bit more packing space, and we're used to bakkies.
Yeah.
So it suited us.
And the color was not negotiable.
Yeah, I was the end of 2015.
Yep.
We kitted it out
Immediately.
but plainly just on what we always had and what works for us.
Yeah.
So nothing sort of 100% standard. The drawer system is our own size.
But we knew what we wanted because we've been camping so long, and we knew what was working for us. So that was the easy
So
one.
we kept it simple. The one major change we actually did, we were always used to sleeping on a ground tent.
Yes.
And Carla always complained about
The blow-up mattress.
blow-up mattress, and obviously because we travel a lot, we would stay 2 days at a place.
Or lots of one-nighters.
One-nighters, two-nighters.
Yeah.
She said she wanted to have a rooftop tent. I didn't want to go for the normal rooftop tent, so we obviously went for the clamshell one
Yeah.
and fitted that as well. And now we've got a vehicle that we really love.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. Takes us a minute or two to get going in the mornings. And
Lots of space.
we've got
Lots of
space,
leg room.
lots of space in the vehicle, and it's just a comfortable drive, a wonderful vehicle. It gives you a lot of confidence, especially if you travel in very, very bad roads
Yeah.
or doing some very remote traveling. My wife's a bit of a anxious passenger, and in the cruiser she feels a lot safer than in the previous vehicles.
So yeah.
That's obviously one of my favorite places for many years is actually Botswana. And well, we got stuck in Botswana for sure. 16,
Yeah, but now Botswana, you must say the central Kalahari.
yeah, Central Kalahari, Moremi,
Yeah,
starting in
but
Galagadi.
Mostly.
So we did a lot of trips with all the other vehicles, and our main concern obviously, especially if you do it, when there's a lot of overgrown grass, on a normal vehicle there's a lot of stuff that gets stuck
Underneath the body.
Every half an hour on the Toyota,
And in the wheels.
on the Toyota bakkie, I had to stop. You could actually start smelling
Burning grass.
the burning grass, so that's not fun. Climbing under a vehicle, cleaning everything.
And you don't know if there's a lion in the bush or whatever.
And obviously, especially if you've seen a couple of burned out vehicles, it actually really becomes an issue. With the Land Cruiser, I don't think I've ever actually had
To ever get under the
remove
vehicle to
anything.
get grass out.
And that we realized a couple of years ago when my brother actually traveled with us, and we rented a Land Cruiser for him. And I couldn't understand that every half an hour I had to climb under the Toyota bakkie and clean everything, and there was just nothing under the Land Cruiser. And that was one of our big things, because as I said, except the the fire hazard, it's obviously takes a lot of time, and everywhere you stop, there's obviously a lot of thorns, so it's not fun cleaning it.
So the height was
Yeah.
the big
So
thing.
the height makes a huge difference, especially in,
Also with game viewing, because a lot of roads,
that's also true.
they
Especially-
just get lower and lower because they scrape the roads, and eventually all you see when driving are grass.
or
So-
the bushes on the
bushes.
side, the Land Cruisers.
So with the cruiser, you can actually have that visibility over the grass, which was a big bonus.
and another thing, you know, a lot of new
And the big windows.
that's what I wanted to say now. A lot of the new vehicles, the windows are getting smaller and
Smaller.
smaller. My wife obviously is a bit of a artist, and she loves looking at the landscapes as we drive, and she always complained with new vehicles, the windows are too small.
Yeah, that I can't see
The Land
anything.
Cruiser still, well, the same it nearly looked for the last don't know how many years, but you've got decent sized windows,
Yeah,
you can look out of it,
yeah.
and with this cruiser and the height, and obviously with the V8 engine, we've done sand that on previous vehicles you could start hearing the vehicle started
No, but-
struggling.
Yeah, and I mean, we've done sand, lots of sand, and then you had to keep momentum, but you were driving so fast, everything was just flying all over the show, and I was flying all over the show, but with the cruiser, it's just, you just cruise. You literally just cruise.
What, about 3 years ago, just after we bought it, we were up in Botswana at a place they call Linyanti. Now the scouts, they call the guys at the gates the scouts. They just said, you're not allowed to do the sand road and it's too dangerous and too many people got stuck. And obviously I've always wanted to do the sand road. It's a sand road between Linyanti and Savuti.
Savuti, yeah.
And the morning we woke up at Linyanti and I just said, listen, I didn't buy a cruiser for nothing. I'm going to do the sand road. Drop the tire pressures a bit more. And we drove it and my wife was looking at me and says, well, where's the sand? And I mean, we went through the sand than I was supposed to say so bad. But I mean, we're used to sand, but that cruiser just stays at the same revs. You don't hear engine whining. There's no...
And there's nothing hopping around all the time.
So that was one of the main things.
Including me.
Yeah, on the previous bakkie as well with the height, especially in Muiremi, when the elephants make a lot of holes in the wet season, you drive and you can knock a lot of stuff. I knocked my cover of my fuel tank off once or twice. And oddly enough, since I bought the cruiser in Muiremi, I don't think I've ever knocked anything underneath the vehicle.
Yeah, because you tended to... Okay, now, let's rewind. My husband, when he gets into the vehicle, thinks he's Sorrel.
Okay,
So he drives like a maniac.
because I enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So obviously when there's holes, he doesn't slow down, he just goes over it. So he's knocked so many times that underplate that covers the
petrol
fuel
tank.
Yeah, the fuel tank. Of the Toyota, I mean, we even had to stop once in Maun at the Toyota, where they actually had to weld back the fuel that cover. So now with the cruiser, there's luck.
We don't have that problem anymore. And then the last 2 years we actually got stuck up in Kahuku land and Damara land up in Namibia.
Yeah.
After all the years in Botswana, done some really bad roads up in Namibia. Once we actually were doing, we got there just after a lot of floods, and there was just no roads because we were doing all these dry, well, supposedly dry riverbeds. And would I have done it with another vehicle?
But you know what? A lot of people argue with me and say that cruiser is not comfortable. I've never felt, after long days of driving, now we're talking about, say, 8-hour drive, ever felt my back hurting or ever felt tired. Ever.
Yeah,
I remember with the Toyota, where you would get to a place and you were tired. Yeah.
So yeah. So the cruiser just makes, especially driving in the bush,
It makes it fun.
It makes it fun.
And
And
it's enjoyable.
Yeah. sand driving, rock climbing, doesn't matter what you do, you just actually feel quite comfortable. It's not a vehicle that's got a lot of all modern technologies that can help you. So it's actually quite stock standard, like an old vehicle, but it does what it needs to do.
But that's what you want.
And everything just works for us.
Yeah. Oh. My favorite camp place. We've been going there for years. Obviously stays Richtersveld. Richtersveld, the national park.
Yeah, Richtersveld's not a drive that you most probably need a Land Cruiser to do. You can do it in most probably a 2x4 as well. It's got high clearance.
But we go camp there. Also, when nobody else wants to go camp there, we go in February when it's 40, 45 degrees in the shade.
But because we do go for 7 to 10 days, you do need a vehicle where you can pack in a lot of stuff. Most people will survive 2-3 days in the Richtersveld. But that's also nice about the cruise. You've got a lot of packing space.
And fridges. And batteries. And solar panels.
Yeah, well.
So, yeah.
All of that, but in any case. So the vehicle just works for us.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got, most probably too much panels, but as I said, we run 2 fridges off it.
Yeah.
We
have to run 2 fridges. Yeah. It's a his and a hers fridge. Yeah.
But
one doesn't work.
But there's such a lot of places, so it's not always. We used to do a lot of, with previous vehicles, go and do mountain 4x4 trails and stuff.
But that's
now we're more into overlanding.
Yeah.
If the roads gets bad, we don't mind doing it. We don't specifically go and look for all the worst things to do that there is to do.
No.
So for us, it's a travelling vehicle. It's an overlanding vehicle. So that's our main use.
For us, it's to enjoy it, have fun. These hectic 4x4 routes is not fun. It's
if it happens, it happens.
If it happens, you deal with it. You go on, but otherwise,
So this for us is the perfect overlanding vehicle.
Yeah.
It works. It's got a reputable name up in Africa. Botswana, all those places there. Toyota dealerships are very good as well if you do need to service a vehicle or something goes wrong. Namibia, obviously not a problem as well if you go further up. Toyota's everywhere in Africa in that sense, in any case. So the Land Cruiser just really works. And oddly enough, the more remote places you go to, the more Land Cruisers you actually see. So that is the vehicle that you can see that really survives the tough, bad roads. A lot of other vehicles will do it as well, and there's a lot of good vehicles out there. But the Cruiser for us just really does the thing.
The look as well. So,
about a year or two before I actually bought the Land Cruiser, at that point in time, I don't think there was a fee. I actually joined the Land Cruiser Club, or the Land Cruiser. It's the Land Cruiser Club. So at that point in time, I obviously used the club or the website to obviously look for vehicles that was for sale. And obviously, after I bought the Cruiser, I then also joined the Land Cruiser Club. Well, the correct way. At that point in time, there was a fee to pay as well. And there's such a lot of knowledge on this Land Cruiser forum. I mean, anything that you want to ask, any problems people have had, advice on battery systems, solar panels, whatever. And then we also went once or twice and we joined. They've got like a outing that they do, met some of the people. There's some guys that's involved that obviously got their own companies that's also somewhere involved in 4x4ing. It doesn't matter now if it's tires or batteries or systems. Or whatever, So there was such a lot of advice, and actually through that we actually met some very interesting people, and actually can actually really say made some new friends as well. So there's travelling advice on it, vehicle advice on it.
Anything you can think of.
And just, and some very, very interesting people that know a lot more about Land Cruisers than I do, some real Land Cruiser fanatics.
And that's travelled
yeah.
much more than we've
So
travelled.
you meet these people, listen to all the places they've been
Yeah,
to,
there's
all the
amazing
Land
stories.
Cruisers they've driven. So it's actually a wonderful club to belong to.
To belong to, yes, yeah.
When we bought the cruiser, one of my main things that I wanted to do was to get a proper canopy. Our previous canopy just was one of those glass fiber canopies that you only had access on in the back. So we obviously went the Alicab aluminium canopy, so both your sides can open and your back can open, so it makes your packing so much easier. The one thing that we also really wondered about was actually an awning. A lot of people, if you talk to them about awnings, they say, you put on an awning, you never use it. We went for the Alicab one, it's the 270 degree one, so it opens up, shade will be here and shade in the back. And we actually use it quite often, use it for shade. Sometimes if you're in a storm and it rains, we use it for rain. So I actually believe we've actually got our value out of the awning as well. Well, further on here, obviously inside we've got our own designed drawer system. We'll get to that when we get around the corner as well. With the cruiser being quite heavy, we also had to change the suspension. We went for the old man MO suspension. Then the vehicle still had a bit of a sag as well. I think obviously you've still got these two spare wheels in the back. Even ended up putting in the air suspension as well, so now I can level out the wheels depending obviously depending on the weight that I carry on the back. We also in the beginning decided to change the stainless steel exhaust pipe. Plainly we changed it to the 76mm pipe, and I also took out, sorry Toyota, I also took out the cats out of it. The reason for that was we do a lot of driving in Botswana where there's dry grass, and with the cats becoming so hot you do have a fire risk. So that was one of my main reasons that I decided to remove that as well. So yeah, further obviously, as I started mentioning, we do have two spare wheels. We've had too many instances in life where we lost a tire, you keep on driving, and then you just hope and pray that you don't lose another tire. And obviously the moment you have two tires, then you never have a flat. But that's one of those things, so it's also a type of insurance. We also added these bags here in the back, so all our little stuff in the end that's always left in the end, you put back in the end, so it really works for us as well. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay, this is my department of the vehicle. My favorite part of this vehicle is that my husband decided to put this beautiful stainless steel cover on here, which is easy to clean. When you have a one-day stop somewhere, a picnic stop, you can make your food on here, you can even sit on here, you can do whatever you want on here. This for me is an absolute bonus. Then you'll see that our drawers are higher than the normal standard. I did not want the lower ones because you cannot fit any big bottles like your olive oil or whatever standing in these drawers, so I wanted large drawers. So this is our kitchens permanently in here. We felt that those built-in kitchens do not work for us, it takes up too much space. So we also have this side is like the clothing, the toiletries department, and we had bags made that fits in here. So he's got his bag, I've got my bag, and we've got another extra third bag there for the medical kit, the toilet paper, and so on. Then we've got our inverter going here, obviously not strong enough for a hairdryer, but you can charge your batteries with that. We also have our water tap here, which is our drinking water, and it's
about a 40
litre stainless steel tank, which is fitted right at the back. Yeah, that's about, and obviously we've got our gas bottle here, we've got fresh water going there, and that's the reason why the canopy is also not the big open door, because otherwise you can't fit any stuff here. And then also, this is quite a handy thing. Yeah.
This I fitted. A lot of times you travel, maybe you're 2 weeks in the bush, you get to a place and there is electricity. So this is just a plug. You can plug in here. There is a built-in smart charger inside in the battery system as well, so I can just charge my batteries. Or sometimes even if you go camping at a place where there's electricity, you can use it, although we normally camp where there's nothing. And this is just my 2 MPP chargers. The one run from all the panels on the roof, and then I've got another one. I also got 205 watt panels, solid panels that I can use for this. If I, for instance, I'm under a tree, then I won't get too much usage out of the panels on the roof. Then I use my solid panels. All our plugs are here, so you've got some Brad Harrisons, some Hella points. All the plugs we need is in there as well. And that's most probably basically the back. We also fitted these strips, so it makes our life easier. If you put in ammo cases, you put in your bags of wood, because we do a lot of bad roads, and at least you can just put a ratchet set on it and just tie it up a bit as well. So it really works for us. Makes all your stuff, you can move it in and out quite easily, and everything is quite secure and stable.
And then you obviously have, that was also custom made for us, which is fantastic.
So yeah, in here is one of the solar panels, the solid panels, and then our stainless steel working table as well.
Which I also requested should be a high table and not a low table, just for the fact of that you can't be standing like this making food, causes your back to hurt, so that's all for us convenience.
Most of the rental companies will give you a lower table that you can obviously use as a dining room table. We just sit and eat on our laps, obviously. So that's that side there. Okay, so this side, because we 99% of times travel solo, I did decide to buy the Max Tracks. For me it's like insurance. Fortunately I've never had to use it, but rather have it than don't have it. We didn't have any place to actually fit it to the vehicle. You don't want it inside, because if you use it it's maybe full of mud. That's why we fitted it here. It's out of my way and it's easy access if I need to get to it. While we're standing here, obviously this is the standard fuel tank that the cruiser comes out. It comes out with a 130 litre tank. The cruiser's not going to win any fuel economy prizes, so with a normal 130 litre tank you're not going to get that far. So we did add an extra 80 litre gravity tank, and that really works. Since we added the extra tank, sorry, I've never had to actually use jerry cans. We do have a jerry can setup as well that I can put up on top of the roof rack. After we fitted the tank, went to Botswana, and the jerry cans I filled up, and well, I went home with them actually in the end. Well, with Botswana's cheaper fuel that did help, but the extra 80 litre tank was definitely one of the better add-ons, I would say, as well. And yeah, obviously here on the top, I did mention this last night, is our alley cap rooftop tent that we really enjoy as well. And it didn't leave too much space for a roof rack, so we had to shorten the roof rack a bit. But there's still enough space, as I said, if I really do need to put up jerry cans. Otherwise we use it for wood. There's certain trips if I need extra water that I add a 60 litre tank to the top as well. And it also have space for my second solid solar panel that slides in here as well. Well, while talking about panels, as we mentioned, we have the one solid solar panel in there. We've got the other solid panel in here. Then on top of the alley cab, the rooftop tent, there's also 3 extra 80 watt semi-flex panels. So we're trying to have the best of both worlds. If there's shade and the vehicle is parked under the tree, then we use the solid panels. Otherwise, like now, there is 2 fridges running inside, but we're running on the panels on the roof. So if you're busy doing game driving, or you're stopping at water holes and you switch off the vehicle, then at least there's always something that's busy actually loading your panel systems. The rest of panels, we're not going to talk too much because that I can keep you guys busy with. 2 days I've had lots of problems with panels, lots of problems with batteries, but let's leave it there. One thing we didn't mention, when we also bought the vehicle, I did decide to put on what they call like a tyre money or a tyre pressure system. So every wheel's got like a little cap on. So inside in the front of the vehicle, while you're busy driving, you can set your tyre money system. It can show you if your tyres heat up too much, if you lose this tyre pressure. And I must say it is really a nifty gadget, and I think it saved me at least 2 tyres so far already. So for the couple of bucks that it cost, it is really a good investment to add onto your vehicle as well. Okay, here in the back we actually got a whole fridge system. What we decided to do, we removed the seating in the back and we built this whole platform. It was designed that way that if I take out the fridges, there's only 3 or 4 screws that I need to loosen up. I can take out the whole platform and I can put my seat back as well, should there be a need. We've got 2 40-litre Engel fridges running. The one we use as a fridge and the one we use as a freezer. So that's our setup in the back, and in the middle there's still enough space for all the camping equipment, and a couple of crates of beer also fits in quite perfectly between the fridges as well. We opted for the V8 Land Cruiser diesel. Engine's quite standard, you can see while it does fill up the space quite a bit. What we did add in the engine bay was the Raycor inline fuel system, just to clear any water or algae or any dirty diesel. Since I fitted it, I've never ever had an issue with filters, so I do believe it's a good product to add as well. And then they also gave me this with the Raycor filter, and this little yellow thingy on the top will actually show you when to replace your filter, so you don't have to just blindly replace your filter every 10 or 20,000 k's. You can actually look at the yellow thingy on the top. Last time I think I waited about 30,000 k's before I replaced the filter, so you do get good value out of those filters. And then this side here, this is your normal Toyota starter battery. There is another extra battery here as well, so there's 205 ampere ones in the back plus this one, so we are a bit on the overkill side on batteries. And then a while ago, with all the bad diesel or waxing of diesel, especially in the winter when the diesel starts to freeze, there's actually a Toyota product where we then added this new top. This is the original Toyota filter, and then they actually put on a new top that actually heats up the diesel as well. We haven't been in a situation where we actually needed to use it, but we do go to areas that is quite cold in the winter, so this is also just a bit of extra security or a bit of extra insurance that we added as well.